When God finished talking, you will hear him go to work. God was not sleeping. The Bible says in the book of Genesis chapter 1 verse 5. Please show me there. Verse 5. The Bible said the evening and the morning were the first day. Now verse 8. The Bible says the evening and the morning were the second day. You will now see in verse 13. The evening and the morning were the third day. You will see verse 19. The evening and the morning were the fourth day. You will see verse 23. The evening and the morning were the fifth day. Verse 31. The evening and the morning were the sixth day. You will never read in the Bible that the morning and the evening. You will read the evening and the morning. Productivity starts at night. Implementation is in the daytime. While men were sleeping, transactions were going on. A little sleep, a little slumber. So shall poverty attack you like an armed man. So God was productive at night. God was working. The rich man tells his children the importance of money. They must understand that that trouser you wear costs money. We don't exonerate them from the discussion of money. Teach your brothers, your juniors about money. Let them hold the money in their hand. Let them feel it. If your father is not talking to you about money, you have a phone or an ability to go online. Go and write, what is money? Read it, study it, eat it, you become it. Let me tell you the difference between a poor man and a rich man. Ask your father, how much do you pay for the house? He will ask you, are you going to pay it? That's a poor man. A rich man will tell you, bro, it cost me 4.5 million. He wants to drill it into your head that there's a cost for you sleeping in this house. You need to be able to talk to them about how money is made. You need to give them insight. I am not afraid of an army of lions led by a sheep, but I'm afraid of a pack of sheep led by a lion. No matter the recession in the forest, a lion will never eat grass. A lion will look at an elephant. He said, I will eat this. Because that is how he thinks. An elephant will see it and run away. It is not a function of your size. It is a function of your attitude. Where are my lions? Can I hear you say, Ahoo? Whatever you look on, once there is a will, there will always be a way. As a young person growing up in Africa, you have a high propensity to turn out average than to turn out exceptional. You live in a world, though, that is going to support you to pretend that a lot of what is against you are not against you. Most of the people you know are foolish. You'll be stunned at how much foolishness you radiate as well. People are not poor in Africa because they are not determined. Determination is simply not a strategy. Africans have too many successful people. Africa is not really poor because of the absence of capacity. Africa is poor because of the wrong deployment and the abuse of capacity. And so
you can make all the effort you want in life and still not become successful. That is why two people can be in the same business with the same resources in the same environment and get two different results. So the difference in people's effort is in the quality of knowledge behind the effort. Effort is a common denominator in life. Knowledge is the differentiator. Which means if you want to get new results, you don't work harder, you learn better. If you want to improve your finances, you don't work harder, you are working hard enough. But the quality of the outcome in your finances, in your fulfillment, is not as a result of working harder than this. It's as a result of knowing more, learning more. If not the case, how can I be very successful in my business and in my investment portfolios? If wealth is by physical strength, someone like Ugo would not be a successful person.
The Bible says, teach us to number our days, that we might apply our hearts to wisdom. The greatest mistake anybody can make is not to understand time and season. The lack of understanding of times is what has kept people that are 50 years old to have no value for themselves. Your age has significant responsibilities. When you understand your age and what you should do at that particular time, then it will help you to know what you should be doing and how to get there. For as a man thinketh, so you need to catch up with time. You need to walk up with time. You need to wake up with time and stop giving excuses that you are too young to succeed. You are too young to be rich. Wrong. You are old enough to be rich. Everybody was born naked. Everybody. There is nobody I know that came out with shoes, iPad, BlackBerry, nobody. Everybody came out naked. The only thing a baby comes out is the fear of falling down and the fear of a loud noise. Every other thing you learned to be poor. So if you're going to be successful, you have to unlearn poverty and learn success. That decisions make men. What decision do you want to take today? What decision do you want to happen in your life? What decision do you want to see in 5 years' time? Everybody overestimates what you can accomplish in 1 year, but you underestimate what you can accomplish in 5 years. Stop thinking short term. Think about the long term. I was tired of 1,000, 5,000, 20,000. So I wrote on my wall 100 million. I wrote it on the wall, big with paper. I will lie down by my bed on the floor. When I wake up, it's 100 million. I see. I wrote it on my ceiling, 100 million. When I turn like this, 100 million. Turn like this, 100 million in my bedroom. Turn like this, 100 million. My toilet, when I'm sitting on the throne, 100 million. Whatever you look on, once there is a will, there will always be a way. I put a target on my mind, 100 million. And I put a time, 1 year. 1 year. When you put a time and a target, you turn to a madman. Direction will appear. The world does not excuse the road for human beings. It's when you are mad, the road will clear. Gravity is a law. Whatever goes up must come down. You can never stay up forever. So if you are going up, learn to build people beside you. Learn to grow with people. Learn to carry others along. Because if you don't carry others along, when you get to the peak, there will be nobody to give you support system from one level to the other. Once the light shines, the power of that bulb has begun to die. As you are shining today, you are already depleting the energy you are carrying. The resources that took you there is burning out. That bulb cannot stay on forever. Another bulb will replace it. So as you succeed, know that your expiry time has come. So start getting others ready who will either take your place or you can mentor them. Learn to be part of making history in other people's lives. Tomorrow has started. Once your shine has come, know that your end has started already. Build people, build men, and build the society. The Bible says, teach us to number our days, that we might apply our hearts to wisdom. The greatest mistake anybody can make is not to understand time and season. I came to talk. I came to gist. I came to swagger. I came to ginger. I came to vibrate. If you're going to succeed tomorrow, make your head sweat. You won't die. Decisions make men. Till you see it in your eye, you cannot get it. Nothing starts until you start. When you start, everything starts. Find where you are going to first. When you define your target, direction appears automatically. And then your direction will connect you to your association. Success is not that I'm the best in this industry. I am the most obsessed.
Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. How are you doing? Now, how was that? How was the video? What did it do to you? And I hope you really started taking notes, because I did. I absolutely did. I want to welcome you specially to Disruption 2022. I'm so excited to be your host this evening. I consider it a privilege. I consider it an honor to be hosting Dr. Ubon King's posthumous birthday. Come on, wherever you are, just celebrate, just celebrate. You can just celebrate. And I want you to fill up the chat room. Begin to send in your how you feel exactly. Just, put on the emojis and clap. Yes, I can see it. Aloha. And one thing you can do is also tell us where you are streaming from. Yes, you are greatly excellent, Sarah. Yes, we are awesome. I see the fire from Adna. The video fired me up. Yes, Kai, I see. Please tell us where you are. We want to know where you are. We would like to take, records. We would like to take data. Let's know where you are streaming in from. Let's know. Dr. Obon King was actually an inspiration to all of us, to a lot of us across the globe, I dare say. And that's why we are here. Yes, you're streaming from Irua, Edo State. Aloha from Hawaii. Celebrate yourself. Welcome. From Port Harcourt, Emmanuel Frank is beautiful. Please keep it coming. Sarah is streaming from Ajah in Lagos. Yes. Zini from Lagos State. I see you. Thank you. Just keep it coming. I might not be able to call every one of us that is here gathered today. Someone is streaming from South Africa and from Abuja. And this is the beauty of technology. Isn't it such a blessing that we can converge, and we will still get the most of the reason why we are gathered? I consider it such a blessing. And like I said, it's such an honor for me to be doing this today. My name is Mary Jane Ubaja, and I can't tell you how much, I can't say it enough, how much it is an honor for me to be here. We are here to celebrate posthumously Dr. Ubon King. He was a fantastic businessman. He was a mentor. He was a leader of leaders. He is a king to many kings. Yes, that's what he is. And I'm not saying he's the King of Kings, because King of Kings is God. But he's a king. He's a gift that keeps giving. That's why we are here. This is his legacy. And I'm sure we'll be learning a lot more about that today. Welcome once again. So not to take much of your time, because we have started. Alvin, I hope Alvin is here. Alvin will be telling us exactly why we are here. He will do justice to it. So take it away, Alvin. You're welcome. And if Alvin is not here, I can do justice to that. I'd like to go ahead quickly if he's not here. So we're here to mark and commemorate the 50th posthumous birthday. Did I hear someone? 50th posthumous birthday of Dr. Ubon King, who had a compelling vision to empower youth globally and get them off the dependency mindset to being independent financially. Yeah, that's what he was about. Globally, he really wanted to get people off the dependency mindset. And of course, we saw most of his clips today with those powerful quotes. We saw him talk about his vision and how he really wanted to get away from earning, in small thousands of naira to earning, in millions, and all the steps that he took to achieving it. And what he set out to do in the world was to make sure that the same principles of success that he applied and worked for him, he was going to, to replicate it in the lives of others. And we saw him do that beautifully. We saw him do that well until God said, my son, come, you have done a great job. We'll leave people to take over. And that's why we are here today. We have a lot lined up for you today. I am excited. I am so excited. So what we did was to, and I feel at this point, I can't go on without celebrating. Ambassador Uyime Ivy King. Come on, everybody, put your hands together. I want to see it in the chat room. We're not going to leave here until we celebrate this woman, this iconic woman who ran with the vision, who has kept the legacy alive and burning Come on, such a strong woman, such a leader, such an example. This is what it's about. So I want you to fill the chat to say, yeah, celebration. I see. Let's celebrate her, celebrate her, celebrate her, celebrate her. Well done, Ma. Well done. You are such an iconic woman. I celebrate you. I celebrate you. I celebrate you. When she called me to say, Mary Jane, do this, I jumped on it. I'm like, who am I not to do this? Who am I? Who am I? Yes, Mama. Show her all the love. Exactly. Exactly. Fabulous. I love it. So you see, one of the things that we did here today, and that's what we'll be writing upon, even with the speakers that are here today. We have amazing speakers. Y'all don't know. You don't know well, some of you know, some of you have had a taste, have had a feel of these men. But today it's so unique because what we're doing is we decided to get a compilation of Dr. Ubon King's quotes. And there's so many of them, we can't take all of them. But we picked about 5 across different, spheres of life. And what we will do is I will read out the quotes and we'll invite one of the speakers to come expatiate on that quote and give their perspective on the meaning, on what Dr. Ubon King was saying and what he was trying to say, and just their unique perspective on the quote. So that's what we're doing tonight. And the first speaker I'll be introducing is Dr. Ugochukwu Omelgu. Now, I met him very interestingly at Thinkation early this year, and we've had an amazing, a beautiful relationship. He's such a mentor. He's a visionary man. He's a coach. He's a wealth connoisseur. This man is everything and more. Please put your hands together in the chat as we welcome. We will be reading this. There's a video welcome to show you his profile. So welcome him in the chat and let the video play on.
Ugochukwu Omelgu designed the Train the Trainer mentoring program adopted by Lagos State Government for secondary school teachers and students in Lagos State. Ugochukwu Omelgu holds a bachelor's degree in accounting and he is a certified tax specialist in the United States of America, diploma in small medium enterprises at Galilee International Management Institute, Israel, with over 15 years of practice and experience in facilitating strategic management, business and investment trainings, enterprise and entrepreneurial development, soft core and critical skills development courses in customer service, client relationship management, sales and marketing techniques, corporate strategy, deposit mobilization and leadership and change management. His holistic value chain management exposure and his marketing communication practice strengthen his balanced, objective and result-oriented view as regards effective marketing communication and key corporate deliverables. He has facilitated programs and trained for JP Morgan Chase Bank USA, American Embassy, Angel Foundation USA, Zenith Bank PLC, Fidelity Bank PLC, Echo Bank PLC, Polaris Bank PLC, IEI, Staco Insurance, Century Energy Services Limited, Keystone Bank Limited, iSkills, iTex Integrated Software Systems Limited, Nymeth Pharmaceuticals PLC, TF Financial Services, Ghana. Among others, he helped in developing their change management and leadership, structural re-engineering training, and also in the development of their sales and marketing strategy and training. Ugochukwu Omelgu runs private mentoring programs for network marketing entrepreneurs, businesses, and corporate executives of Fortune 500 companies. He is the master of wealth creation processes, building a world-class business community. He is deep in his thought processes, passionate, dynamic, well-articulated, a continuous ardent learner, and a great listener.
Welcome. So good to see you again, Dr. Ugo. How are you, sir?
I'm fine. I'm definitely excited. I'm so all ready for this event tonight. I'm sure you guys are ready for what's going to go down tonight. It's amazing. Ubon King is a great leader. He was an amazing guy. And I'm definitely privileged to be part of this epic event.
Right. And it's so beautiful to see you once again on this type of platform. Thank you. Thank you for coming here. Thank you. One thing, the video didn't say was that you are a troublemaker, just like Dr.
Well,
Obonking was.
well,
You are
definitely.
such a troublemaker and a disruptor yourself. That's why you
Yes,
had to be here.
yes, absolutely. We are birds of the same feather.
Fantastic. Yes, you are. Absolutely, you are. And of course, troublemaker here is a good thing. So I have the first quote here from Dr. Obonking, which I think that you'll absolutely love and do justice to. So we need to hear your take, your perspective, and we just need you to expatiate on this. It says that the only way to get out of trouble is to get into trouble. How true is this?
Right. Well, but that's definitely true because, first of all, you need to see what trouble is. Trouble is when you're not comfortable. Trouble is when you are in a situation that is unwelcome. Trouble is difficulty. Trouble is bad circumstances. So if you really want to make things go ahead in life, you have to be uncomfortable to create comfort. The reason why you take risk is so that you don't take risk. A lot of people think that life will just happen. No, you don't live a life, you build a life. So what doctor is saying is, if you are not creating the type of life you want, you will settle for the type of life you don't want. So if you really want to be out of trouble, which means out of uncomfortable situations, out of difficult situations, you have to face the difficulty yourself. You have to rise above that difficulty by taking challenges head on. So it is impossible for you to have a good life or a successful life without you taking the challenges of life head on. So a lot of people who are poor today wasn't what they chose. It's not that the decision to be poor, but however, they found themselves not taking proactively the chances that life has given to them. I'll give an example of myself. Okay, so when I was a little kid, I was born in 1973. I had polio 1 year, 6 months after I was born. That is already trouble. I was born and I had polio, physical challenges. That in itself is trouble. But you know what? I took the trouble and I flipped it over, and that trouble turned an inspiration. So a lot of people who are watching right now, what doctor was saying is, you are in deep trouble if you're not a troublemaker. In other words, you are always in a situation that you don't like when you don't take the initiative yourself to get into some kind of trouble that you created. A lot of people think that because you want the best things in life is going to happen to you. No, it's not going to happen to you. Myself, physically, I remember an incident in Surulere, Lagos. That was my first day in the university. That was when I bought my first car in life. In my first day in the university, that was a BMW. I came to Lagos to clear the car, and this old woman saw me, and she looked at me and walking on the street with crutches. So she gave me some money. In her mind, she was being pitiful to me, but I received that particular gesture as a gesture of generosity. So sometimes it's not what people do to you that matters, it's how you see it. So I took that particular thing she gave to me and said, Mama, thank you so much. That was so generous of you to think of me that way. And I said, Mama, where do you live? She told me the house where she lived. So I came back that evening, bought a lot of gifts to go back and reward her. And when I got there, she couldn't believe who she saw, because in her mind, anyone on crutches means the person is not doing good. Anyone on crutches, based by the psychology of the society, that the person is possibly the person that is weak. But I tell you this, and I spoke with my brother yesterday, that is Rukus. He says that what people don't realize is that physical disability is an uncommon ability. Physical disability is an uncommon ability. And what I think about that is what it makes sense to say to this. You see, my situation with my physical challenges, what it shows to people is the strength of the human spirit. I am an epitome of strength. The fact that I have a physical challenge and I'm A-class successful person. I mean, I built business around the world. I worked with JP Morgan Chase in the United States of America, worked with one of the leading banks in Nigeria here, built and trained multinational companies, generate millions of dollars in revenue. What it shows to you is that even if your legs are cut off, it's not enough to determine how far you could go. If you take your eyes away right now, a certain level of power within you will rise up to make up for what the eyes is supposed to do. So challenges bring out the best in you. It doesn't diminish you. Problems make you to get off your butt and get into life and face it square. So what Doctor was saying is the only way to get out of uncomfortable situation is to make yourself uncomfortable with status quo. That is what he's saying.
Got you. The only way to get out of uncomfortable situations is to make yourself uncomfortable. And I wrote a few things. And I think I should have announced this earlier, that you must. In fact, if you are not with your pen and your paper, you are wrong. You are wrong. Look, I have mine. Hurry up. Get your pen and your paper. I'm giving you 30 seconds. Get your pen and your journal. I shouldn't have said paper. Journal. Please don't write anything on paper. Please write it in a journal. Respect these words. They are things to live by. And some of the points you brought out were just fantastic. In fact, you started bam, 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 bam with your own quote yourself. I think we need to do another session of Dr. Ugochukwu's quotes, and crack them. You said to create comfort is to get out of comfort. And you said you take risks in order to get out of risks. You face difficulty in order to get out of difficulty. And by staying safe doesn't mean you are out of trouble. And that one, I'm like, oh my goodness. Staying safe really does not mean you're out of trouble. So you say, okay, you know what? I'm not gonna look for trouble. I'm not gonna get into anybody's space. It doesn't mean that trouble will locate you. And that's so apt. Thank you so much for sharing with us. We are coming right back to you. That's just a tip of what you'll be getting, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Ugochukwu. And now we'll be on to the next speaker. He's going to crack the same quote for us. He's popularly known as PK. He is Kunle. Are we ready? IT guys, are we ready? Are we ready to bring him on board? Kunle Shorion. We are about to be dazzled. We're about to be blown away. We're about to be stimulated. No, we don't want you to come on board first. We want to read your profile just the same way, your video profile. Please, IT guys, where is it? And if it's not here, then I will just bring him on board. And then after all, what we want to be doing is we want to be stimulated.
He is a well-sought-after revolutionary speaker. Olakunle Shorion is a futurist, life and business strategist, known as the Rukus by industry experts and stakeholders. Shorion has given several talks and has spoken locally and internationally at many functions, seminars, workshops, and conferences. His critical expertise is birthing newness and next level through a creative disruption that moves his clients and audiences from point A to point B, whatever those points are. At the Urban King Foundation, we are privileged to host this revolutionary icon on this life-transforming call. Ladies and gentlemen, let's make welcome Mr. Olakunle Shorion, aka PK.
Welcome him right in the chat room. Welcome him. He's a futurist. I don't know. I think this should be the same thing as the prophets. Or those that see ahead. Welcome. Good evening, sir. It's really, really lovely to meet you.
Good to see you, my brother Ugochukwu. Good to see everyone. I'm excited to be here. I look forward to this. Let's do it.
Yes, let's do it. So welcome, sir. I want to start by asking you the very same question that I asked to Dr. Ugo. You know that Dr. Obon King was just a master of quotes. And it's just the same thing. He said the only way to get out of trouble is to get in trouble. So what's your take on this?
I mean, trouble is a constant. Somehow I have become very forgiving of the ignorance in the world. How somehow, people have to be visited by experiences for them to accept the constants in life. I see our attitude to problems in the way that I see our attitude to death. As sure as death is, people are more afraid of it than preparing for it. It's sad, but that's the reality. So problems are constant. You don't get so wise and live away from the problem zone. New level is new devil. The possibility of error is the value of wisdom. and judgment, right? So I totally agree. If you don't get into trouble, you're just going to be small and weak and powerless, probably taken for granted in life. It's just the way it is. Crisis is
Wow.
a forerunner of peace at a very high level. Crisis is a forerunner of peace. You can't negotiate that. Crisis will always precede peace and power. It's just the way it is.
Wow. Crisis is a forerunner of peace. I'm sure Dr. Ugo, that was it. That nailed it, right?
Yeah.
Crisis is a forerunner of peace. And you started by saying that trouble is a constant. A friend of mine will say that conflict is a staple of life. And I like that you say it's like death. But what you said also was that you become forgiving of people and their approach to conflict and to crisis and to trouble. And you said that, it's as sure as death. People, instead of, prepare for death, are still afraid of dying, even though death is sure. That struck a chord. And then you said new level is new devil. I'm like, where's all this coming from? Wow. New level is new devil. And the possibility of error is the value of wisdom and judgment. So some people will say that, is this not having a pessimistic approach to life? And then how do you now balance, this, being like a pessimist, which I don't think it is, but I just would like you to address people
it's
who
naivety.
think that,
it's just being naive. So let me explain that. When people say that, football is just a game, people say, oh, soccer is just a game. They are correct, because you see, when you are naive, you are not wrong. You are not just working with the full picture. So when you are naive, you are seeing a partial view, right? So when you say football is just a game, you are correct, but it's a naive statement. It's a naive because people are making billions from soccer week in, week out. People's homes are being destroyed. Merchandising is happening, across borders, across the world. People are betting. People have businesses, billion-dollar businesses built on just betting alone on soccer results, right? People have losing their lives, losing their businesses, losing their fortune. All kinds of positive and negative impacts are generated from soccer week in, week out. To say that somebody has killed his wife because his team lost a match, right? So somebody has thrown his TV. My uncle threw his TV out of the house when ICC lost the what used to be called, I think it was the Winners' Cup, we used to call it those days continentally. When ICC Shooting Stars of Ibadan lost it, this was in the 80s. He took his TV, went to the balcony and threw it down. Boom. Regretted it after, but he did it in that moment. People cry, don't eat for days when the Super Eagles lost. You see what I'm saying? You don't call that just a game, but you are not wrong for saying it's just a game. So in the same way, when people say those things, I hear them. Like I said, you just understand where they are, and you kind of even wish them that they, come to a level of understanding. But the truth is, they are just being naive. It is what it is. The way he put it is what it is. You can't really negotiate life away from those things. What it does for you when you see them the way we are describing it is it keeps you more prepared and ready. Because what is coming will come. It is who you are, how you see, how you hear, how you interpret, how you judge, decide that makes the difference. But what is coming will come. So that's it.
Yeah, so I hear you say that our lives are ruled by our perspectives, basically. Ruled by our perspectives, our mindsets, our belief systems. That's what I hear. It's brilliant, beautiful. And that's just us on the first quote in this cracking the quotes segment of today's event. The second one, over to you, Dr. Ugochukwu. So Dr. Wonking will say that if you want results in 3 months, plant corn. If you want results in 1 year, plant yam. And if you want results of a lifetime, plant men.
Right. Okay, first of all, I'd like to thank my big brother, Olakule Soronyarukus. It's actually an honor to be part of you today. I'm definitely excited.
Bro. Me too, my brother.
An amazing time. I'm so humbled to be part of you. I mean, it's an honor to speak on the same platform you're speaking with what you've done. Thank you. Yeah, you know, the question about people is, what do I say? What you know is useless until you help someone else. The evidence of living is the impact of making other people's life. Okay, and I used to say to everyone that teaching brings awareness, relationship brings discipline, community brings wealth. Without people collectively working together, you can't do anything by yourself. So when you plant corn, yes, you can get a result in 3 months because the corn comes, dies, the corn's not going to plant itself. But if you want to continue to stay relevant on earth, even after you're gone, you have to build people. I tell you, when I built one of the largest, most difficult business model in the world, which is network marketing, I played in network marketing. A lot of people were having difficulty making money in this business. They bring a lot of people in. The next day, everybody leaves the business. And when I got involved in this company, the reason why I was able to become top earner, #1 in the world, is an American company and the Russian company in Nigeria. I was the highest recruiter in the world. I was bringing in multiples of millions of dollars in revenue. The reason why I was successful is because I wasn't focused on the product of the company. I wasn't focused on the company itself. I stayed on people. I stayed on people. And I built in 4 strategies. #1, listen, you see, in business, end to end is people. Back end is people, front end is people. In between is process. So when you neglect people, you can't stay long in anything you do. So the 4 steps that I use to show you that what he said makes a lot of sense. #1, there's what's called recruitment. Recruitment is bringing people based on their decisions and their visions, right? And then when people comes in, the next thing you do is not to talk about the product, is talk about the people's goals, dreams, and aspirations. And there's nothing that wakes people up than talking about their dreams and their goals. And when I stayed on these people and began to teach them on how to become better, guess what happened? The job become easier. And if I can be #1 in the world in recruitment with the physical challenge, what it tells you is this: if you can't hold a thought long enough to convert that thought to value to people, you are a lazy person. Some people are working hard, but they are lazy. Some people are so, what I call, they mistake doing physical activity to mental activity. And the best way you can impact people's life is to impact their mind and make them to believe in themselves. And everyone you see today that is powerful, look at Nelson Mandela. It's about the people he impacted. Look at Mahatma Gandhi, the people he impacted. Mother Teresa, these people are long gone. And today they still live among us. This program today is about Obon King. But guess what? It's about the impact that Obon King made in people's life. And I bet you this is just the beginning. Look at us right here talking about a man that is still living in spirit, even though he's gone in flesh. So what he's saying, do you want to live longer than you are on earth, than your body can? Focus on people. Without people, everything else you built is going to disappear as soon as you're dead.
Absolutely. I think you wrapped it up properly with this example of Dr. Ubon King. I mean, he's the reason we are gathered here. And you said that if you want to leave, and I think I just need to keep, iterating the points, because you're speaking so fast and every line is like a light bulb moment. Every line is like a masterclass in itself. So it will be okay to just, iterate the points so that people can catch it. So you said that, when you went on your job, the first thing you do is recruitment, right? And it's about people. You recruit people, and then you begin to talk about their own goals. You focused on the people. You need to talk about their goals, and you say the best way to impact people is to impact their minds, right? That's what you said. So yes, it's to impact their minds. I think that people are nature's priority. People are really nature's priority. Yeah, people are nature's priority. The more lives you touch, just the better. But you are the expert here, so I will just move on to you. PK, I will move on to you. Hope I'm permitted to call you PK. Yeah. Right.
So I agree. I mean,
do you want me to rehash the quote?
No. I remember it.
Okay.
It's about men and legacy.
Right.
The way I see life, I've convinced myself that I will never need a bunch of keys to open a door at any point in time. I just always need one key, right? So I won't need know everything in the world. Sorry, that was a call
Sir,
coming.
I need to take you back a little bit because we missed you there. You said you
Yeah.
never need to you need keys to open the door, but you'll do what?
I never need a bunch of keys to open a door. I
Mhm.
always just need one key, the right key, right? Every time.
Right.
So
Right.
part of the challenge is that, sorry, I think it was a call trying to come in. So
Oh, okay.
did you hear what I said about keys?
Yes, yes.
Yes. So what I said that to say that you don't need to know a lot of things in this life, and you don't need to focus on too many things. You just always need to know that one key, as opposed to carrying a bunch of keys around. You just need to know that one key that you need to open a particular door. So for me, when it comes to life, I've zeroed it down to three things: it's people, places, and events. That's all. When death is sure and retirement is guaranteed, and you are at the departure lounge of life, ready to take the flight, your life is proportional to what you did with people in places and the moments that define those places, right? So the people you accepted into your life, or the ones you denied access into your life, the environment you permitted yourself to see, and the ones you refused to see, the moments you prioritized and placed a premium on, and those you deprioritize and refuse to place premium on. That's your life. That's your life right there. And of the three, the most significant is the people factor, because people determine geographies and moments, right? So the moment you miss the intelligence of really exchanging with people, you missed everything. You put your own life at risk. If I always tell people, there is no other risk I know than the risk of not placing the right premium on people, right? So it's true. It comes down to human beings. I don't know anybody in the world or any document that had a record of the best corn that grew fast in history, or the best yam that did so well and tested so well. The best corn will be consumed. The best yam will come and go. Nobody's going to record that. There's really no value in that. Now, the irony is the best of men will also be consumed. It's just that history records nothing but the contents of the human behavior, of human thinking. That is what's most important. So everything in life must be consumed. I marvel at times when people complain about being used, because quite frankly, I don't see how your life can be meaningful if people don't use you. You should actually put yourself out for use. And you'll be used by people who know the value of what they are using, as well as people who don't know the value of what they are using. But it's all usage. You should be used. Usage is necessary for positive engagement. You must be used. Misuse is what you should worry about. Misuse. And misuse is always intentional. There's an ignorance that comes with how people relate with you. I read the Bible a lot. There's a part in the Bible where Apostle Paul was discussing about people who pretend to be preaching the gospel and people who don't. And the way he put it is, some preach the gospel out of pretense, hoping to pull us down. He says some preach it out of truth. And he said, whether in pretense or in truth, Christ is preached. He said, in these I rejoice. Yes, I rejoice. Whether in pretense or in truth. So at times you don't even need to worry about the people who relate with your personal and all that you represent in ignorance. You forgive their ignorance and take them with your own response to the level of reality that they need to experience, right? It is the people who intentionally craft misuse that you should worry about, right? And they are usually not very few, not many, they are few. They are laced with agenda, and you should have your own agenda as you exchange with people as well. There has to be something going on in your mind. There must be a kingdom you are curating. There must be an architecture in your mind. You just don't relate, for contract's sake. You relate for territory. And when I say territory, I don't mean there's physical space you can occupy, but the geography that your ideology must occupy in the world, right? That is how you must think. You just can't be philosophical, because philosophy has changed nothing in this world. only ideology has changed the world for good or for bad, whether it's communism or it's racism or is democracy or is capitalism or is communism or Nazism or Christianity or Buddhism or Islam. Only ideology has changed the world for good or unto evil. The biggest philosopher in the world was Socrates. He committed suicide. So definitely philosophy is really not the game changer. It's just a romance with truth. Is really the truth. But the idea that you prioritize people and really measure the weight of your existence, the value in your legacy, right? The size of your pocket, the wealth of your personal peace, you know, the depth of your misery as a human being or bliss as a human being. All of those things come down to men, right? But when we also think in terms of nation building and global peace and global positivity, then it makes sense to focus on that heavy power interaction with men. And when we say men, we don't mean the male. We mean human beings, you know, across the world, male or female, right? That is what that means. Yeah, but it's the ultimate level of exchange.
And to add to what they said, if you look at the first quote, which is, if you want to be in trouble, you need to get out of trouble. The only way you can get out of trouble is through people. The only way you get into trouble is through people. So the fundamentals of whether or not you're going to grow is determined by the people you empower, and that's going to help you pull through. Now, let's this. If you want new endorsement, new business, new territory, you must face new challenges. That's trouble right there. Anytime you want something new, asking yourself a higher task in your mind, in your quotient, in your decisions to move to a higher level. So new businesses, new endorsement leads to new challenges. But if I have a new challenge, this challenge is anything that demands the best of you, which means it's something you have never seen before. And for you to take new challenges, you must take new responsibilities. Now watch this. Responsibility is what you have never, new responsibility is a task you have never done before. For you to do it faster and efficient, you need new relationships. So anytime you're about to enter a new level of something you have never done before, you will need people who have done it before you got there. In other words, without people in your life, it's impossible to move forward. You know, basically, and like my big brother was saying, you can't take away territory without new ideologies. And these ideologies come from by observation of human behavior. So people is at the center of any sustainable growth that can last forever.
People are at the center of any sustainable growth that can last forever. So in order to succeed, you must be in the business of people.
Correct.
People are priority. They should be priority. And PK said a whole world of things. You know, at first he talked about people, places, and events. So the people you meet and, you know, the place where you met them. And he said the moment in time. You know, the moments that defined that meeting. I thought that was very, very brilliant. And then he talks about being used. And I think that that's speaking to service. If I hear you very well, sir, you know, that you should be available to be used, serve. And service is one of the prerequisites to growth, right? So serve. But I saw someone who said, machines should be used, not people. I'm like, okay. The person wrote in the chat saying machines should be used, not people. We have quite a number of quotes. Well, maybe just 3 to go. So I don't know. Do you want to speak to that again, or you want to just say, you know what, that's perspective. Truth is truth.
No. It's not perspective. It's semantics. It's not perspective. It's actually semantics. You know, when you say machines should be used, it's like somebody says, you know, you lead people. You don't manage them, you know. That's not true. You lead people, you manage people too. Because, you know, you do both. You know, the idea of managing things, people say you manage things, you lead people. The idea of managing things is because things are powerless in moments, except they are deployed.
Right.
They're just powerless in moments, no matter how powerful the thing is or the potential of the thing. It is powerless except it's deployed, right? And there are human beings who sadly relegate themselves to that level as well. by their conduct, by their choices, by their disposition, their demeanor, their positioning, and they require not management, they require actual management. You know, the people in prison are not led, they are managed.
I agree.
There's management, right? So for you to be led, the potential to reproduce inspiration and influence must be present within you yourself.
Yeah.
So you can't lead somebody in jail. You can manage them. I have to be free for you to lead me, because so that the influence you share, I can multiply. You see what I'm saying? If I am caged and I have no room for expression of that which is in me, your leadership is valid, but almost nuisance to me.
Absolutely.
You see? So people have to be managed. In the same way, you know, you trying to make a distinction between, you know, things and people at times is just semantics. You know, whichever way you call it is usage. There's somebody, you know, right now that I know who thinks is using somebody. He actually thinks so. You know, he actually thinks he's using the person, but the person has a larger perspective that accommodates everything he's doing. You see what I'm saying? It's like the devil killing Jesus. In his perspective, he's killing Jesus, but in God's perspective, he's achieving redemption. Right? So him killing Jesus is just a tiny face of the bigger picture that God has. You see?
Right.
So people use people. And people use people either creatively, positively, naively, selfishly, for different reasons. But the truth is, there's then abuse of usage, right? For me, what I'm saying is, I don't care your reason for engaging with me. Even if you want to use me, it's fine. Come and use. I'm here to be deployed. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And whether in pretense, whether with naive, whether with treachery or malice, I'm on ground. I'm here. You know, I was talking to somebody the other day. I said, you know, I can't be disrespected. Even if you want to disrespect me, you just can't disrespect me. It's beyond your wish. No, even if you have a commitment to disrespect me, it's not going to happen. You know, and I'm not going to avoid you. I'm going to engage. You just realize that your only option is to contribute. You really can't do anything else. Because there's no protocol for you to do that. You see what I'm saying? So I think it's semantics. I just think it's semantics.
I agree.
Okay, Dr. Ogo.
Yes, and what my brother said is absolutely true. You see, system controls behavior. There must be a structure of expectations that is measured in time and space. Without that, everybody will run amok. So leadership, it has to do with inspiring people. Management has to put benchmark on how that behavior of inspiration can act out in the process. So if you inspire people and everybody get inspired and everybody start doing whatever they like, you still have disorder. And for progress to happen, there must be order. So the word uses semantics, but when you're used, you're useful. When someone is being used, you are useful. So check the word synonym use. It means apply to become valuable, apply to become contributive. So I'm being used every day. I'm being used right now.
I love that.
Please use me. Please use me. Please use me. Okay, but when you have a bad concept, every good word becomes bad.
Word. Yes. When I have a bad concept, every good word becomes bad. So it's not about the word, it's about your concept, it's about your mindset, it's about your perspective, it's about you. Yes, I hear it.
Just like what he said, it's just like what my big brother said. You see, disrespect is two words. The first thing is respect. What is respect? People think respect is reverence. People think respect is regard. It's none of those things. Respect is two words. Respect. The first word is R-E again. Spect is look again. So respect is when someone has done something that demands you to want to look at it again. So if I've done something exceptional, you pass and say, my God, you look back the second time, that's respect. Disrespect is when I've done something that is not worthy of second time. So it's not what you do to me, it's what I do to myself. So, but you can be disrespectful, but you can't disrespect me, because respect is a function of what I do, not what you do.
Correct. Correct.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so we're going to move on to the third one, but might I just add? So only people who have come into themselves can speak this way. I also have the big mindset of I really cannot be cheated because it's perspective. You think you're cheating me, but this is exactly how I see it. I'm providing service, I'm providing value, But I want to say that, especially to those of us watching, what these honorable, distinguished men are talking about here also is, or talking from, is a place of self-discovery. They know who they are, self-awareness, self-access, self-mastery, self-efficacy. This is what it's about. And this is actually, like I say, it's the first on the purpose ladder. Before you can get into the place where these amazing gentlemen are right now, you have to uncover, unpack, and discover yourself. Thank you very much, Dr. Ugo. Thank you very much, PK. This is amazing. This is amazing. Okay, so let's go to the third quote, Dr. Ugo. This is for you. If the leadership goes down, the system is dead. If your family is going to progress, you as the leader or a husband have to come up. If the leadership goes down, this is speaking to marriage. If the leadership goes down, the system is dead. If your family is going to progress, you as a leader or a husband have to come up.
Well, I'd like my big brother to start on this one. I'll take a cue from him.
Okay.
That's fine. I mean, so, the concept of leadership for me is a very interesting one. And as I continue to grow, I continue to realize how expanded that word is and how a lot of the assumptions we've had about that word are not in themselves exhaustive and complete. For example, today, in fact, for this very event, the post that I made on Instagram for this event, underscores a major thought that I've been pushing lately. The idea that I don't think that a nation can be transformed by its government or its politicians, or its politics, really. I think that entrepreneurs and innovators and nonprofits are the key transformative agents to which the government will partner with to make things happen. So a documentary exists in America that documents the men that built America. They didn't say the political parties that built America or the government that built America. They said the men, because they are individuals. And largely these guys are entrepreneurs. These guys are innovators, right? And at the end of the day, people talk like Nigerian leadership, for example, is outsourced or imported, right? Like the leadership of Africa is not chosen from the African people themselves, such that we can pretend that the battlefield is really not the soul of the people, because it is from the people that the leaders show up from, right?
Yeah.
And so in my thinking, the distinction between the leader in office and the one out of office is a symposium discussion for me, right? Because, I think they both have distinct responsibilities that prioritize both of them at the same level, such that we cannot for any reason discount the responsibility of the leaders out of office. I don't believe in people versus their leaders. I believe in leaders in two different, within the same geography, but with two different responsibilities, right? And with two different set of assumptions, right? And with two different types of expressions as well. And that the people called people must lead the government. And the so-called leaders in government must also lead the people. So it's a two-way thing. It's a double-edged sword, right? And so when it comes to the home as well, when I hear leaders in the family situation, what I see is husband and wife. I really don't see. The only people I excuse from that word in the family context is the children. And that is only for 18 years. That is only for 18 years. After 18 years, any act of parenting is damage control. Every child in the family should be ready for any level of responsibility by the age of 18. Because by the age of 18, everybody in the home can go to jail. You can't tell me you can go to jail, but you can't be CEO, or you can't run a business, or you can't work in a company, but you can go to jail. So if you are qualified to go to jail, you are automatically qualified for any level of responsibility, including the power to be a billionaire or the foolishness to be a pauper. Both of them are within reach the moment you are 18. But before you are 18, I will put the wife and the husband in leadership, right? And so I always say to my friends that the husband is, can anybody hear me? Because I'm alone on this platform all of a sudden. Okay, I just want to be sure that nothing has gone wrong. So at times I say to my friends that the husband is the wife is the husband, because both of them will function in that space called leadership. There are roles within the family situation that the husband can never play, no matter how smart he is, and there are leadership functions. And there are roles within the marriage that the wife can never play, no matter how powerful she is. It's just a man's role, and and at times it's like, for me now, I'm terribly I'm not domesticated at all. There's nothing I can do in the house. I can't carry a nail. I cannot. They say when something is wrong, it's the man that goes to fix the TV or fix something in the kitchen. I don't know how to fix nothing. The only thing I know how to do is to use my brain and use my mouth and to give instructions direct. I don't know how to carry a paper. My mom told my wife when we were getting married that this guy doesn't know how to do anything. So in that case, I'm like a woman, because I don't know how. I didn't touch his steering. You won't believe it. I've seen this life. I've seen 10 years 5 times in this life with some extras. I touched a steering for the first time in 2021. I don't drive. That's a life skill. If for over 50 years I could survive without a life skill as critical as driving, you can imagine how physically useless I am on many levels. So somebody who's going to marry me is expecting me to be the one to come and help them hang painting or help them fix the bulb. Man, you are good. Man, you just married a drunk dude. You see what I'm saying? So the idea is leadership is about influence. And influence is, all-rounder. If where I am, those beneath me, in quote, those who are direct reports to me, maybe my children, must lead me. I must lead them. Those at the same level with me must lead me, and I must lead them. How do you lead people on the same level with you? By supporting them, right? How do you all lead the people that are below you? By going ahead of them and holding their hands to do what you want them to see, right? And then how do you lead the people who are above you? By helping them to believe in your thinking. And that is leading them automatically. The moment they believe in your thinking and they execute your suggestions, you are leading them, because leadership is influence, right?
Right.
So,
okay.
yeah. So for me, it's expanded, and I totally agree with the quote. That the leader, the husband in the home is everything. But when the husband has done well, what he has done is what I call participatory ideology. What he has done is to get everybody involved in the leadership equation. Because what is in Africa, and I hate to say this, but it is the truth. What is in Africa is that the man wants to take responsibility for everything in the name of leadership. And what that does is permit him to govern everybody else, which is ego, right? So I don't think the man has to be the most prosperous in the home. I don't think he has to be the richest. I don't think he has to be the one bringing all the big money. For example, to be the CEO of a bank, you don't need to be the one individually bringing all the money. You just need to make sure that every money coming into the company is evenly distributed and maximally deployed, right? So I think that everybody in the family situation, when the leaders have done well, when the husband has done well, he has put everyone in their place of leadership to do what only they can do. And when the wife has done well, he has put everyone in their place of leadership in the home to do everything that only they can do. Yeah.
I hear you. I hear you. I hear the perspective from which you speak. And I think it's really brilliant that leadership is influence. And if you can, and it's the same thing, leadership is leadership, whether it's at the workplace, whether it's, in government, whether it's leadership is leadership, and it simply means influence. And when a leader is successful, what that means is that leader has given everyone, the opportunity to thrive and to shine in their spaces, whether bottom up, top bottom, that way. And that's how you see it. That's and I think also, where the Bible will be speaking to this would be when it says, husband and wife, submit to yourselves, right? So that's where I think that's what it would mean in that space. But Dr. Ogo, now he has spoken, and I want to hear from you.
Of course, he has made it easy for me. First of all, by vision, you inspire people. By leadership, you direct them to the vision. People get inspired by vision. Everybody gets excited, gets in tune to a possibility that can happen. A great visionary, is someone that gets people to believe in themselves and believe in the possibility that can happen when certain thing is gone. But when people are inspired, they will need direction to that particular vision. So leadership somehow, someplace has to do with someone directing a people to a particular direction that is possible, with them believing it's possible. But however, you see, leadership is not a role. It's not a gender role. Leadership is being able to articulate a vision and getting people to follow that particular vision. That's one. But at any point in time in a family, there's what is called facilitator. A facilitator is someone that makes a process to happen seamlessly. Sometimes the man is a leader who has a clear picture of what the vision is going. But there are certain activities that needs to be done. And if the wife has the competence to make that particular thing to happen, you need to take away that leadership role and give it to that woman to facilitate that particular role so that you guys can get to the place. For example, if we are going to a particular direction, you know where we are going and we need a car and you can't drive. And you say you are the leader and you can't drive and your wife can drive. What you need to do, she takes the leadership role of driving, because now you've communicated the direction and the destination to that person, and then she facilitates that particular movement. And I also think because people who don't understand the essence of facilitation in leadership tend to frustrate those who have the capacity to make that journey easier, because quote unquote, they think that leadership has to do because they're male. So I agree, totally what Rukus said. It makes absolute sense. It is making sure that everybody is in their role, performing according to their capacity, and recognizing each person. Sometimes you take a back seat. And there's another thing that I think that sometimes the man may not have the funds or may not have the wherewithal to answer a leader, and the woman has the means. Okay, so because we confuse leadership with breadwinnership. Sometimes the woman is the breadwinner doesn't necessarily mean that she has usurped the place of the man. And the man being the breadwinner doesn't mean that the role of a woman is any less, important. But my point is, there are facilitators of leadership. I want you to understand that. If you have a direction of where we are going and you have no how to get there, whoever has the how at that material time should take the role of leadership to facilitate that particular place so that that role can be accomplished. Just to add to what my brother said.
Yeah, so I hear you. I hear you start with vision. I actually, the second question flows into this. And I hear you, and I think it's very brilliant how you start with vision. And, it's still the same thing. A good leader would allow, whoever it is, shine, thrive, and then you give the brilliant example about you not being able to drive, and then your wife can drive. The simple thing is take the lead. The second question is this. I'll ask because it flows into the question that I have that I would like to ask you. Dr. Obonking said that as a lady, if you marry a man without vision, frustration is inevitable. As a lady. So this is very, very clear. And the question we just addressed is that if your family is going to make progress, you as the leader or as the husband, you have to come up. So he's very, very particular about the role of the man. I still have another quote here on that, but I think you'll be overflogging it. But then the second one says that as a lady, if you marry a man without a vision, frustration is inevitable. So Dr. Ugo, I hear you. I heard you clearly talk about vision. And, don't you think that this is in an ideal situation where you say, okay, a man has a vision, but this is how you should go. If you're indeed a visionary person, what you do, or a leader, as we spoke before, what you do is to know the strengths of every other person in the house and let them shine. But I don't have stats, but I know that we are here in Africa and there's a lot of ego. And I'm sure that a lot of people here would want to hear this type of conversation. So we have this thing with African men and the African ego, and it's a thing, and it's a really, really, really big thing. So don't you think that your position is more idealistic than really what is obtainable in certain circumstances? And I'm not talking about financially or breadwinnership, like you put it, which is great. Anybody can be the breadwinner. But in terms of vision, and there are cases where really this woman doesn't have anything to submit to. Submission.
Okay. First of all, the question here is, life rewards you according to your definitions, not according to your effort. Anything you cannot define overwhelms you. Anything you cannot define overwhelms you. Anything you can define, you can modify. And there are two levels of definitions that I found out. The first level of definition is statutory definition, which is defining something for what it is without your bias of what you think it is. This is crutches. If I take it to a Muslim, it's crutches. Go to China, it's crutches. Indian, crutches. It is what it is. But if I use this now to break somebody's head, it becomes a weapon. So the second level of definition is functional definition, which is where you can take that particular definition and apply it to your situation. The problem I see here most people have is most people lack statutory definition of concept. So when you say a man has no vision, what do you mean by that? What is the statutory meaning of vision? I've asked a 15-year-old child what vision is. He's told me vision is what he wants to be when he grows up. I've asked a 45-year-old man what vision is. He said the vision is what he wants to be when he grows up. I've asked a 95-year-old man who's about to die at hospice. He said vision is what he wants to be when he grows up. So when are you going to have vision? So basically, vision in itself is who you are right now by reason of what you see. So if you say a man has no vision, most of the people that you consider having vision have illusion. So if the lady himself doesn't even know what vision is, how can you follow somebody who has one? So it behoves both the lady to know what vision is and the man. You can't put it's a very simple but yet complicated issue. So the question is, what do you define vision as? Whether you're African, Caucasian, white, Chinese, it's the same thing. Vision is who you are by reason of what you see. So the question is, if I have a vision, and I know what vision is, and she doesn't know what vision is, and someone else who is doing well without having vision, and she follows the person at the point in time in the journey, that it finds out that this person whom appeared to be doing well actually had an illusion of what vision is. So that's why it's not a gender-related something. Both parties must come to the place of knowledge before any concrete agreement about the future. You can't have a different perspective on a subject and having a conflicting perspective. We're going to have conflict. There must be that synergy of ideology before we can agree. So based on that, when you say follow someone that has a vision, what do you mean? Okay, what if the person is doing well and seems to have a company and is doing well? Meanwhile, that is just a temporary shot of vision, of illusion that's going to bust out after 5 years. And this young person has nothing physically to show, but he has a definite idea of who he is. And he's working on it on a constant basis that after 5 years later, that thing begins to show. What if that lady doesn't know that what this guy is doing is a flash on the pan? So the question is, it has to do with education in terms of understanding what this concept are. So it's not an African concept. It's not an American concept. It's a statutory understanding of this concept that can lead to better decisions. So on that, I want to hold back a little bit and watch my brother come back at it. And then I'll probably have some kind of...
I think everything, Ugo has said is so perfect. I mean, what he has said is not just idealistic, to be honest. first of all, it is, personally, Abraham, the guy that really made vision very popular in the Bible is Habakkuk. This Habakkuk, who is he really? I mean, because something is in the Bible does not mean it is true for all. The Bible at some point said we should stone adulterers. The Bible then innovated that and said it's now unnecessary in a dispensation of grace, right? So because it is in the Bible does not mean we should stone people forever, right? So Abraham, who the Bible said is the father of who we are today, who was not given a vision, said you will follow him to a land that I will show you. He didn't have a vision. So vision itself is overrated. I mean, which is why I mean, there are so many things I've done that really I don't have a vision, but I understand who I am. And I understand the urgency of the moment, and I plugged into it, and it formed into something. It's not everything I've done that I did from thorough strategic thinking or strategic planning. I have stumbled into things at times. Some of the most compelling things I'm doing today, I just stumbled into them. Some of them came out of some research. Some of them came, but a lot of them just came. Some of my biggest breakthroughs, came. And I have to be honest with you. What is easy is for me to be telling you about vision, about what is easy. But a lot of them has not even come from that. So, and like he said, when the woman says that, when you are saying, MJ, when you were saying that, is it not just idealistic and it's not practical? Mission is more realistic to me than vision, because I think that mission is always present. And the way he defined it, that vision is where you are now and what you see from where you are now. You can't remove that where you are now from what you see, and that is missionary, because it's kinetic. You really can't do that. The assumption that today creates the future is not true. I can tell you that as a futurist. The future creates today. It's the future that creates today. It's not the other way around. Because the future, in practical terms, is in your head. You will never arrive in the future. Every time you arrive in the future, you are going to call it today. You're not going to say, oh, we are in the future. Wow, what is future? When you say good morning, you are in the morning. You feel the coolness of the morning. You know you are in the morning. That's why you say good morning. When you say good afternoon, you are in the afternoon. You feel the heat of the day. You know you are in the afternoon. When you say good evening, good night, everywhere is dark. You know you are in the night. You feel the breeze of the evening. You know you are in the evening. It's a kinetic experience. It's real. It's functional. When you say goodbye, somebody is living, or all of us are living. It's active. It's functional, right? When you say good life, you are breathing. Otherwise, you can't say that. The dead don't say good life. It's will you ever have the privilege of saying good future? Oh, good future. Like you say good morning or good afternoon. You will never. Because the future only lives in your head. In practical terms, the future is not real. Yesterday is an experience. Today is the critical platform of exchange. Tomorrow is an idea. It's an idea created by God to keep hope meaningful, to keep you enthusiastic, to keep you driven, right? In practical terms, every time you arrive in the future, you are going to call it today. Every time you arrive in the future, you are going to say it's now. So now is all you've got, right? And once you hold on to that, you don't burden people too much with what they see as opposed to who they are and where they are now. Because that's even most critical. And there are so many people who will not be as talented as me or Ugo, honestly, who will not be as gifted as we are, because a lot of these things, some of the things we do is not studio. Some of these things, some of the study might have amplified them, but some of these things are gifts. Some of these things are talents, When I read a book, what I see in the book, honestly, I think it's a gift. I really don't think what somebody else can read the same book and not see what I'm seeing. And I've questioned myself again and again to conclude that some of these things are gifts, because what did I do to see this? I mean, what action did I take to see this? Right? And that plays out in the way I reason in the boardroom, That plays out in the way I look at things, in the way I look at people. It plays out. It plays out in my marriage as well. It plays out in the way I function in the home. Not every, there's a young lady I met who I told her, stop confusing what is easy for you to do for what is easy to do at all. Some things are easy for you to do. It doesn't mean they are easy. They are easy for you by the graces of life that define your uniqueness. It doesn't mean those things are easy, right? And you can begin to hold your husband accountable to some of the things you see somebody like me do, right? And your husband may be better than me on many ways. Your husband could be, I could be more audacious. He could be more patient. He may not be as audacious. He may never make billions of naira. It doesn't make him a lesser human being. He could be a better human being than me, depending on the standards of measuring it, right? So what I say to women is, and then let me also say this. In some other scenario, the man actually does not have a vision. His vision is to serve his family. What about that? And the wife is the one blessed with the mind to take over the world, where what we call vision is the ability to build corporations, to build a woman can have all of that, and the husband does not have it. And then the society, and even that woman who has all of that, will be putting that man under pressure to show up at that level that doesn't have capacity for, right? And the man will be struggling. He'll be struggling when all is built for. I saw a guy on TV the other day competing for a program called Sunday Best, that is created by Kirk Franklin. Sunday Best. And they were describing all the different artists that came to sing there. They said this one is this one is that. You know how they describe this guy? They call this guy stay home dad. What about that?
Yeah.
Only in America. Only in America, this is stay home dad. That's what he does. He stays home. He takes care of the kids. He does school runs. He goes to the grocery. He goes to do grocery. He does all of that. So to be able to give people the space, attention, trust, patience, their individuality deserves, the respect and the honor their individuality deserves, without any form of comparison, is huge, right? And I would say that if a woman can have all of the graces available to the generic man, everything we put a man through, which most men don't have, a lot of what we define a man has, very few men can fit into that profile. I tell you that for free, right?
Wow.
And a lot of what we say women are too, very few women can fit into that profile. We should all descend from those pedestals and learn about each other more and give each other the attention, the resources, the space, and the acceptance our individuality deserves. Because you will be tested by your principles, no doubt, except that principles are universal. Experiences are peculiar. And the peculiarity of experiences is where we lose or win the game, right? Not just the universality of principles. Because at the end of the day, every principle will be applied in a peculiar format that works for you, right? That is why democracy is failing in Africa. Democracy is the principle. How it works in different societies will be different based on their own cultures, their whims and fancies, their whims and caprices, but their own, reality, their traditions, and so many things that define that community or that society. Without make the same principle work differently there, right? So that's how I see it.
Thank you so much. I think that was very, very insightful. I think it was very insightful. The future creates today. Tomorrow is created by God to make hope meaningful. I heard all of that. Okay, so I would like us to, I'm trying to avoid the word balance. We have just one quote left to crack, and then we ride on with the rest of the event. Dr. Ambassador Ivy King says it's getting hotter in here. It's getting hotter. I love it. So I'd like us, because I'm very concerned about the people who are watching, and I can see their comments coming in, and I can see someone say vision is overrated. I can see all the quotes. See, the truth is, every word that is dropped here is going to be taken very, very seriously, especially because of the platform on which we are on. It's going to be respected, taken very seriously, and some people will apply it to their lives. So I hear you very well, PK. I hear you, Dr. Ugo. I hear you very well, which is beautiful. I'd like us to speak to just wrap it up a little bit. What will you say to a man and a woman, single man and woman who are here, who are getting married? Because over time, what we have heard and learned is, your vision, you must have a vision, and this vision must align. In the end, can two work together if they don't agree? And so how, what should they look out for? How do they come to, this oneness? How do they come into agreement? So if we can speak to this so that we can have this wonderful balance on this subject finally.
Okay, so first of all, I think balance is a mediocre word. I like to use the word equilibrium. I like to use the word equilibrium. You see, look at this. If you say balance, all right, balance means reduce something to have something else to work better. Balance means reduce something. When you have equilibrium,
let's cap it. Let's not balance it out. Let's cap it.
Yes, when you have equilibrium, let's say, for example, you have this equilibrium means two things are standing on their own. For example, you are making a lot of money. Some people say you have lost your spirituality, you're so materialistic. But that does not mean you should stop making more money. It should increase your spirituality. Okay, so if you're so spiritual that you're seen to not to lose sight of how to make money, don't reduce your spirituality, increase your capacity to make money. That's equilibrium. So equilibrium is allowing all things to grow as much as they can without reducing the other realities. Do that make sense?
Very true.
Okay.
Very true. Absolutely.
Yeah, so in the context of people who are about to get married, the first thing is there's a difference between intelligence and discipline. Intelligence is people's mental cognitive ability to draw conclusions. Discipline is people's ability to follow instructions. There's so many intelligent people who are not disciplined. And you meet them on the surface, they sound very critical, very intelligent, very vibrant and brilliant. But if you come close to them, you find out that some of the things they talk about is not a discipline in their life. And I've seen that destroy a lot of marriages or people who come together because of this brainwave. So discipline is the ability to follow instructions for a predetermined outcome. Your ability to follow instructions for a predetermined outcome. So you and I agree on an outcome, and we have developed the discipline to follow instructions to that outcome. But so if we don't have a certain level of relationship, it's going to be very difficult for us to know how disciplined we are in the pursuit of the goals and the mission that we set for ourselves. So it's important to form a sense of relationship, to be able to know each other, to understand our family background, to understand our culture, to understand vis-a-vis where we are headed. Like my big brother said it, about mission is much more important and more closer than vision, because vision tends to be very phenomenal, very vague, it's difficult to put in place. But mission means this is what I need to do right now to get things done. So having a clear distinction between intelligence, brainwave to make decisions, to make conclusions, as opposed to your commitment to follow a process to a conclusive end. So these are the things I see that is missing in marriages because of the euphoria, the emotions that get people involved. They tend to lose sight in this subtle but yet powerful, phenomenon. Discipline is key, and you can't know someone disciplined until you know a lot of things about the person, family background, their commitment to process, how they are even taking their own life seriously. So, but that is where I see that most times we confuse these things, and young people, I also think the society has failed. We are no longer, pushing the virtues and the values of marriage in the context of raising people to these institutions. So right now with social media, it becomes difficult to go online, you see influencers, you copy from them, use that as your life goals, and then at the end of the day, reality now tells you that all of those things you saw on social media and TV and televisions does not hold water in the reality of life. And I tell everybody is always doing well until you get close to them. So these are the things I think people should consider before they make a life choice. Finding out their capacity to follow an instruction to a conclusive end, as opposed to being intelligent. Why do you like this man or this woman? I think he's brilliant, he's intelligent, but that is just one speck of the requirement to make a decision to make a life partner.
Discipline.
Yes.
Discipline.
Okay.
PK, do you want to add anything?
Yeah. I'm going to add something to that. First of all, so MJ, see, like you said, I also don't believe in balance. I am more about harmony than balance. And then again, I'm not afraid to say the truth. I always say that we can be so accustomed to half truth or lies that we actually become so afraid of truth. And we can begin to define truth as the enemy, right? And false teaching and partial ideas can rule for years. At times, today's perfect ideas is tomorrow's partial reality, right? It can be true today for all that we know today. It will be tested in 10 years' time and it's no longer fitted in the life of Gen Z or Gen Alpha, for example. It doesn't make it less true 20 years ago. But today in the life of Gen Z, it's not completely true anymore because they have a different set of assumptions. That doesn't work for that principle. You see what I'm saying? So we should not be afraid. So many things, in fact, MJ, let me tell you, so many things that you accept as true in this world are overrated. And the fact is, anything that is overrated is going to end up to become a form of prison, right? Because moderation is necessary in the expression of everything, right? Ownership is necessary. But if you become drunk with ownership, you will oppress other people. You see, if you don't bring stewardship into your construct of ownership, you are going to be an oppressor. Even though ownership looks legitimate, but when it is over prioritized, it becomes oppressive in interacting with other people. You see what I'm saying? So there's nothing, if you drink a lot of water, as rice as it is, if you overdrink it, it will hurt you. You can sleep to a level and wake up very tired because you've overslept. I define stress as doing anything that is unnecessary. Anything that is unnecessary, that is stress. You can't be stressed from working hard. You are stressed from doing unnecessary work. That is what the stress is. Stress is doing anything, accepting a friend that is unnecessary in your life is stress. Anything unnecessary, food that is unnecessary is stress. Anything that is unnecessary, you can exercise to death. If you exercise beyond limit, you will die from the same exercise that is supposed to keep you alive, right? So everything is done in usable, significant, transferable moderation, right? So part of that then is the freedom to question everything. We have to let people, erect their own bliss or their own misery. You can't make that choice for people. I have a right to be wise as well as I reserve the right to be foolish. It's my right. Foolishness is a human right. You can't legislate that out of my life. You can put options on my table, teaching your best, which is what we must do. But I don't have responsibility for insisting on what you are going to accept, you see. So I'm never afraid. I'm never afraid to share. Vision is overrated on many levels. Let me punch you more. Even marriage is overrated. And you won't know that. Except you come out of some commonalities. Those who are married desperately want to be single on many levels. And those who are single desperately want to be married. Everybody is crazy because of this unnecessary emphasis on both ends. Those who are married want to be single. Those who are single want to be out married. It's like you have a house. Some people are running out of the house with dread on their faces, and some are running into the house with excitement. If you are wise, you should pause and see what is in this house. That some people are running out with dread and fear, and we are jogging into the house. We should be careful to audit this house again and be sure that we even need it for our journey, right? And no human life is incomplete because he's not married, and no human life is better just because he's married, except he's going to understand some content that make life sweet, whether you are married or single. You see, once that life is not sweet, regardless of whether you are married or not, you will be married and still be miserable. You see what I'm saying? And you'll be single and unapplied and unactualized, even though you are single and you have all your room to yourself. You see what I'm saying? So when the Bible says, can two walk together except they agree, it did not say, can two walk together except they are similar. You see, in the definition of association in marriage, we seem to emphasize similarity. without knowing that we are emphasizing similarity. In other words, we are looking for who we are in other people. And we are looking for, and that is why we struggle in the marriage, because we have tried to negotiate that marriage based on similarities. When the Bible says, can two work together except they agree, agreement does not mean similarity. You and I can agree on what to do now. It doesn't mean we are similar. We can be two different people with an agreement, right? So we're supposed to actually, so that agreement speaks more to difference than even similarity. You see what I'm saying? So being able to come into that place where, you know, we respect each other's differences, because life does not reward us, recognize us for our similarities. We are rewarded and recognized for our difference. Our difference is our critical success factor, relevance factor, greatness factor. It's our difference. So I would advise young people to understand themselves and the difference that qualify their emergence anywhere and their interactions anywhere. And to be patient enough to understand the difference of whoever it is they want to commit to. You see, there's a lady that I know who is a high flyer. She's going to rule the whole world. I know it, right? If she ends up being the Secretary of the United Nations, or she ends up with a Nobel Prize, I will not be surprised. And then there is this guy that she likes so much, but the guy is not trying to take over the world. The guy just wants to be with her, appreciate her, make things easy for her, help her out to get her clothes to the dry cleaner, help her sort things out. The guy has a little job, is okay, but the guy is not, he doesn't have a lot of massive, big, hairy, audacious goals to transform the whole world. He doesn't have all of that. And that is the problem of this lady. How to sit her down, like really look at it. Let's go into the future. Let's go to the future. Look at your life in the future. Assuming don't you see that this is the man you want? This is the man you really need. But you are defeated by culture that your husband must be seeing more than you are seeing, bigger than you are, have more money than you are. You can't even articulate a husband that is called to you. Your mind cannot articulate it, right? So, and there are so many women you admire out there. You don't know their husbands. Their husbands are called to them, serving them at a level you have not imagined. You see what I'm saying? So I'm going to advise people just to be free enough to give attention to their own differences and to have the courage to stay true to those differences, even if they fail the test of popularity, as long as they don't compromise the test of their peace, right? Of their peace and their personal meaning. They should have the courage, as long as that position is not a crime, does not break a law, does not compromise their peace and their meaning and their purpose. They should have the courage to stick to that difference, even if it fails the test of popularity or the fingers of society. They should consider that, because in that, I believe that every other thing is almost existential. Everything you need to have your highest meaning and your deepest peace and happiness and joy are already scripted for you. We struggle with nature every time we misinterpret those existentials of the human condition. You see, that's what I think, right? Yes.
Okay, thank you. I think that was brilliant. I think it was really good. I'm glad I asked the question again. And, you know, like I said, sometimes, or most times, really, when I ask questions, is because of everyone watching. Everyone, I love as many people as possible
Which
to be
is
on board.
wise and right.
And even though I know that a lot of people are still not gonna get it, because I still see some chats coming in.
They don't have to.
Yes, exactly.
They don't have to, MJ. See, we don't have that responsibility. Even God is not going to take everybody to heaven. God is not going to take everybody to heaven. God, we still have the devil in this world till today, right?
Absolutely.
God has not succeeded on that job. We are not the ones to do it. So you are perfect and you are right. Yeah. Keep moving, MJ.
Yeah. I get you. I love that. I still love that, you know, you talked about difference. It's something you didn't really touch on before, and you made it very, very, very explicit. And we have cases before us. We have Joyce Meyer, you know, and her husband, David. We have Oprah. Well, even though you say she's not married, but, you know, I mean, she has, you know, her partner, as they like to call it, her partner who's been with her for over 30 years. And he's just right there in the background. And he's very, 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 very crucial to her success. You know, she would always say, and there are tons and tons of tons. Don't pick it. I'm here. I'm on your side. And, you know, I remember I did a webinar one time and the title was Marriage is Not an Achievement. I'm married, by the way, over 10 years. And I did it.
Awesome.
And I
Congrats,
remember people came for me. MJ, what are you talking about? That was the title. And I put it there. Marriage is not an achievement. So I totally understand you. And thank you, Dr. Ugo. I hear where you started from. Started about relationship. Build a relationship with the person and be more focused on discipline, the ability to, you know, see things through, right? Let me see. Capacity to follow instructions to a conclusive end. And you said be more focused on that than the wishy-washy that we talk about. Thank you very much. That was good. Really, really good. Justice done to the subject. And then the last question, but we need to nip it in the bud really fast because time is fast spent. Nothing just happens. Nothing just happens. Nothing just happens. That's the quote. It says, nothing just happens. When you see the glory, ask for the story. Over to you, Dr. Owen.
Okay, so
nothing just happens. When you see the glory, ask for the story.
Okay, so I have this this understanding that you don't live a life, you build a life. You know, everything is subject to your own definitions. Everything in life is neutral, subject to your definitions. In quantum physics, it says, if a tree falls and nobody sees the tree, there was no tree. But if a tree falls and someone is there to observe the tree, that's when we know that tree has fallen. So the life you're given is subject to your own creativity. And I am, for one, I was dealt not just the wonderful hands. I was born 1 year, 6 months after I was born. I had polio. Growing up was terrible. People look at me, walk in different kind of ways. I was asking my mom, why is it that, why am I, people look at me like that? Out of the 9 children that we were, why is it me that had to have polio? My mom tried to explain things to me. You see, what happened to you has affected your dad and myself to think about God. And I said, well, I'm trying to think, what about me? Until I read a place in the Bible, I think it's in Mark chapter 9, John chapter 9, from 1 to 3, it says, the disciples asked Jesus, there was a man who was born blind from birth. Whose fault is it? Is it the man, the parents, or the child? Jesus replied and said, it is neither the fault of the parents nor the fault of the child, but the glory of God to be made manifest in that child. So life gives you an opportunity. What you make of it is your mind. Your brain is your command center. You have a decision right now to decide the kind of outcome you want in your life. You may not choose who your parents were, but you can choose the outcome you want. If someone like me who has less privileges in terms of both born in a wealthy family, had physical challenges, can decide to design a life. And when I realized that, that everything in life happened for a purpose. Is for me to figure out what that is. I tell you a story. I was driving one day along somewhere in Imo State, and I saw a brand new car coming opposite my direction. This brand new car is terrible, okay? And as I was coming towards this car, something came up, asked me to observe what is going to happen. All of a sudden, that car had a flat tire. The back tire got busted. Guess what happened? The owner of the car pulled by the shoulder of the road, came out of the car, and went back to the back of that car and removed a spare tire from inside the car and changed the spare. And I'm thinking, oh my God, if man in his finite wisdom can build the car brand new, and while the car is still in the factory brand new, he put a spare tire, knowing that once the car leaves the factory, there's a possibility of the car, tire not working. Don't you think that God in his infinite wisdom knew that as long as you release to the earth, there could be blindness, deafness, your leg cut out. But what happens was, when this car had a flat tire, the owner of that car had to come out of the car and then go back into the car and get the flat tire. So if something happens to me physically, I have to come out of that situation and go into my mind and bring the alternative result or mentality or capacity inside to replace it. So what I thought was a physical challenge was actually a precursor to a mental challenge. So in other words, right now, as you are watching this program, I don't care what family you are born into. I don't care what issue you're going through right now. It is neutral. It's subject to your interpretations as a precursor to challenge yourself to bring out something out of you. So yes, that sometimes you can stumble into some things you didn't ask for. For example, this event right now, I didn't plan to be speaking on the same platform with my big brother, Kunle Sorinyo. I didn't plan that. But now, nature, life has brought her in my space. Yesterday, when I spoke with him, I said to him, sir, would you like me to invite you to my program? That's me taking advantage of that, which I didn't plan for. It's called serendipity. But before I can even be invited to this program, I have done things for myself, tried to stay focused, tried to create impact in people's lives that actually brought me to a platform, but I may not choose who's going to be on the same platform. So right now, as you're watching this program, everything in life is neutral, subject to your definitions. Nothing is anything until you say what it is. The question I ask you right now, yes, things are not working. Yes, you're broke. Yes, you don't have a good family. Yes, Nigeria seems to not be a good place. But the question is, what are you going to do now that will change the rest of your life? That's my account on that effect.
So when something happens, you step out of the situation, go into your mind to prefer solutions. I think that was brilliant. Thank you so much, Dr. Ugo. And over to you to wrap up for us. The question says here, nothing just happens. Whenever you see the glory, ask for the story.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I just love the response that Ugo gave. I think is priceless. I really want to celebrate that. He's someone that, inspires me a lot, because when I think of the type of mentality that he has, you can't believe that somebody saying all of these things is on a wheelchair. And it just humbles me every time. It's easy to listen to him say these things, but it's a different ball game to actually be in that reality. And even if, as I'm here, I've tried to imagine myself, maybe I lose my leg one day or I lose my hands. I've thought of those things. Maybe I lose my eyes or something. I always try to paint different scenarios, and I think I know how I will respond. But quite frankly, that's just me. Imagination costs nothing. Optimism costs nothing. Enthusiasm is free. Faith is free. It's easy for me to say, oh, I will react this way, I'll react this way, But if you find yourself really in that reality, it's a different ball game. I may not react that way. I think I will, but, and so the person who is reacting that way is the real king and is the real, MVP, So he said it all. There are a million things I can say, but what I really want to say is just to really celebrate my brother and really thank him for the choices he has made with his life and to choose to be a billboard for so many people to follow. I've said it a million times. Disability is an unpopular type of ability. It's not just something, it's an ability that is not common, And when you see somebody like a Kobams who doesn't see, you see what he has missed from seeing, he has probably gained by heightened sense of perception that you can never imagine. A blind person is naturally focused. I have to see things, women, cars, houses, and say, no. He has to go out of his way to see those things. So the value in that, though, is so priceless. And when I find people, so I teach these things, but I don't live in that reality, right? Because, I have my eyes, I have my hands. So I am always in complete awe of anyone that I see who is in that reality and is masterful in it and gracious in it. That's what my brother represents. Sir, I just want to let you know that I celebrate you. I honor you. I really celebrate you. You are a king. You are the star. You are an incredible example. And we see you. The world sees you, and the world has seen nothing yet. I know there are still heights and heights that the universe will pull you through, and God is supporting all of that. You will climb the highest mountain possible on this side of heaven, and you will fly the flag of your faith, your beliefs, your ideology. and your assumptions there by God's grace and in Jesus' name. And MJ as well, I want to really celebrate you for your uniqueness. You're an extremely intelligent woman. It's obvious the quality of your questions, the way you treated the conversation. You know, I'm not saying that because you are really actually very intelligent, you know. Keep that going. It really helped us here, you know, because for me, I dread interviews. I dread them because I am at the mercy of the questions being asked me. And the last thing I want to be doing is disrupting the questions. I really want to go by the questions. And so intelligent questions make interviews very smooth and easy, you know, so I really celebrate you. But also, I really want to thank my sister, who is, you know, yeah, for her strength, Mrs. Ubon King herself, Mrs. Uyeme Ubon King herself, and all that she represents. You know, I speak to her from time to time. She's a pillar of strength. She's not in our face right now, but I love you. We see you. We appreciate you. Thank you for standing in that place and upholding this legacy and taking it to the next level. We don't take it for granted. You are a star, you know. Oh, look at her. You know, thank you for all that you do. Thank you for all that you are. You know, I want to celebrate everyone that has stood by her, you know, till now. Keep moving, sis. You know, we're praying for you. We are celebrating you. We love you. You know, thank you for your passion. Thank you for your heart. You know, we just celebrate you. God bless you real good. God bless you. Thank you. That's all I have to say.
Oh my goodness. I think I should just wait for. Oh, Dr. Ogo wants to say something.
Just to collaborate what my brother said. Mrs. Uvi is one great pillar stone. I have met with her since her husband died. I have never seen anyone so solid, so consistent in belief, so consistent in prospering what her husband has left behind. You can barely find women in that capacity. I think she's actually a beacon of hope for us. Without her, this program wouldn't have been where it is today. I met her the last time we talked about this. She is so passionate and believes that people can be better than they were. And I thank you, Ma, for making this happen. And my brother, thank you for that. It was very generous of you to say of me those things of me. I am so humbled by it. Thank you so much, Rukus. I am so appreciative. And MJ, of course, you are a shining star. You made it easy for us. I didn't know how I was going to face my brother to actually, you made it easy for me. You know, even though I missed some point that doesn't make sense, you make it make sense so that it will look like I'm actually there. But my brother also lifted me up. Even when I didn't come up as I'm supposed to, he lifts me up. And that was very, very, very kind of you. And all of you watching from all over the place, Ita, Alvina, all of you are amazing. Thank you so much. Mama, I love you. You are just amazing, Mrs. Uvi. You are incredible. You are my mom. As far as I'm concerned, I'm your son.
Oh, okay. I think I should just, I don't know what to say. I wasn't expecting this. Wow, this is so emotional. I don't know. Where is Mama gone? I wanted her to just cap it. She needs to speak. But thank you so much, PK, for your kind words. Thank you so, so, so much. And thank you, Dr. Ugo. Thank you. Thank you. It's just been an amazing, amazing experience meeting you. And, you know, I met you at Thinkation this year. And, you know, it seems like we've met forever. And PK, I'm sure that after now, we'll forge on a relationship that's formidable, and that would be such an honor for me. And Mama is back. Mama, please say something. Respond to this. We weren't expecting this. Thank you so much, PK, for starting. Auntie Ivy, are you there? Can you hear us? Oh, I think our network might be acting up.
I think so.
Yeah. And should we just be patient or just wrap up this segment and then on to the next? Dr. Ivy, can you hear us? Yeah, her sound has come on. Okay, I think I should just, I don't know what to say. I was expecting. Oh, no. Okay, so we're having some glitch, some IT glitch. I think at this point, we will just wrap up. Thank you so much, Dr. Ugo. This has been enriching, but please do not hurry up. We have some questions. There's a segment. Please, can you hear me clearly?
Yes.
There's echo. Great. So there's a segment, where the audience too will pick pick out some quotes, and they'll just want you to talk about them. So please don't hurry up, please. At this point, we will take a break. There's a video coming up, just a quick 1 minute, 2 minute video, and then we will continue with the show. Thank you very much. I'll see you guys over to you. Oh, wait. She's here now.
Okay, thank you very much, MJ. It's an honor to be here. I'm so excited. Thank you, PK. Thank you, Dr. Ugo. I really celebrate all of you. Thank you for honoring us. It's an honor. It's a day that I'm so elated. And I thank every single one on the call who has joined in from different parts of the world. It's exciting. You know, when you see vision continuing, when you see legacy continuing, even despite the fact that they honor the visionary, the one who started the legacy is no longer on this side of the divide, is something that is heartwarming. And I want to celebrate you all. And I thank our guest speakers for today. It's been really explosive. I've had to move all around my house from one spot to the other because I couldn't sit still. It was just nuggets after nuggets. And I tell you, it's really, I'm going home loaded to explode the more. Thank you, PK. Thank you, Dr. Ugo. It's been amazing. And I must celebrate you, MJ. The way you've coordinated the whole session has been so powerful. You brought all the energy in. Thank you. And for every team member at the Obon King Foundation, I celebrate every single one of you that has made today possible. And I celebrate Wale and his team that are behind the scenes coordinating things. I celebrate you all. God bless you. And please, my request is this: don't just listen. Go home and put into practice the things you have heard. Because when you keep on listening to all these fantastic messages, you keep on listening to these ideologies, and you don't put it to practice in your day-to-day living, then it doesn't make any sense. So go home and live it out and let this world explode with so many talented, gifted, and wonderful human beings. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Thank you so much, Mar. Thank you. I'm honored. Thank you, sir. Nice to meet you, PK. Thank you, Dr. Ugo. But we'll just take the quick break, and then the video will come on, and then we'll continue with the program. Thank you so much. All right, you guys, over to you.
King.
Thank you.
A king.
And I remember a king.
I remember a king.
I met a king.
I remember a king.
We remember a king.
I remember a king and a father.
I remember a king who understood the power of serving humanity by laying down his own crown.
We remembered a king.
I know a king.
I remember a king, and that king is led Dr. Obon King, my mentor.
I remember a king.
I remember a king.
I remember a king.
I remember.
Okay, make an issue.
I remember a king.
Ubon King.
Ubon King.
I remember a 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 king once said,
whenever you see the glory, look for the story.
The best way to get into trouble is to enter trouble. I entered that trouble, and I'm glad that I did. Long live the king.
Thank you so much. Welcome back. Okay, Mama, thank you so much. Over to you, Mama Ivy. It's time for the award, winners for all the competitions, that session. Can she hear? Hello? 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 Okay.
Hello, MJ.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, the winners are going to be announced on our social media platforms. Not here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, that's fine. So even though I've just received a few names, but should we keep it?
Okay.
For the quote challenge, the fastest finger, Empower Your World challenge. Should we skip it and move on to the audience crack your quote section?
Okay, let's skip to the next thing. Let me speak with the team.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine, Ma. Okay, so the next session is for the audience to pick a quote, and we'll ask our speakers just for 5 minutes. What quotes would you like to be cracked? What quotes would you like to be cracked? I think the IT people are supposed to put it up on the screen so that people can pick from it. Or I have a few here myself. In fact, there's one that's standing out to me right now. And I will just give 30 seconds. If I don't see any question in the chat room, I will just go ahead to ask. And maybe one, and then we'll call it a night. Because time is fast spent. Okay, so there's this quote from Dr. Ubonking. It says, "Business is war. Treat it as such." And I know I keep starting with Dr. Ugo, so this time I'll start with PK. PK, Dr. King says that business is war. Treat it as such. Please, can you help us with this? Yes.
Yeah, so that is one of the most potent business philosophies, the idea that business is war. I agree with it because it is true. Though I must also say, with all sense of candor, that is not my own practice. And let me tell you what that means. That means that some people believe in. Some people will tell you the best form of defense is attack in soccer. Some people believe that you attack by being defensively conscious. So there is a coach in the soccer world called Jose Mourinho, and it's one of the best. He's coached some of the biggest clubs, won some of the biggest matches. He's not really an attacking conscious coach in terms of his strategies, but he wins, and he has won. He's one of the best in the world. But he will play defensively and then attack with opportunities. But you have some other coaches like Guardiola who are attacking conscious. A team like the Brazilian team in soccer, for anybody who knows, they're not really big on defense. Their belief is that if you score 10, they will score 11. They are extremely attacking conscious. So, but whether it is a defensive approach to winning or is an attacking approach to winning, both are right. It's really just about winning. So I've gone into different boardrooms and training sessions where at the senior level and in business schools where I've been asked to teach on competitiveness and war in business. I've been given books that have really focused on the Japanese ideology about war and bringing that into business, and I teach all of that. So I totally agree. And what the quote is saying essentially is that there is a seriousness that is critical in business, and it is necessary that you entertain and embrace that sense of seriousness. That it's not a game, it's not play. It's just like we're discussing about soccer. Soccer is more serious than just entertainment. It's deeper than that. And in the same way, business is not just going out to make money. It's war on many levels, right? And you need that mentality. The expanded view of that also is to understand that war is really with yourself, and not really by finding loss or defeat for anyone, so it's really about yourself. When I'm asking the media, who are your competitors, I always say that I'm not aware of who they are. They probably know themselves, they probably define themselves as my competitor, but I don't see them. I see myself. I am my competitor. I quite frankly don't think that anyone can do what I do. I don't think they can do it the way I do it. So I don't have a substitute. I can have complementary service providers, but I really don't have substitute service providers. And I say that with all humility and sincerity, with deep respect. And I continue to curate my work in such a way that, that remains true. I have to be a monopoly. I don't know how to be anything else. And part of being a monopoly is just creating a type of value that if you don't use it, you cannot find any other thing to compare it to. Then my price is perceived value, is the price that I put on it, because there's no other product that you could compare it to say it's too expensive or it's too cheap or whatever. It's just on its own. So that is how I see my work, and that is how I drive my work. So if war, however, is that I'm serious enough to know that, I am an eagle. I am not a cage bird. And let me tell you what I mean by that. And that is what I think the great Ubon King was underscoring. A cage bird, is like a parrot. It will repeat everything you are saying. It's well taken care of, well manicured. They will well take, it's always beautiful. Just like a zoo lion. It's well taken care of. They bait the lion. They make sure the lion is beautiful. Everything is available. It's never starving. Everything it needs is available. But there is the zoo lion, there's the jungle lion or the jungle bird. I'm a jungle bird. I was talking to somebody the other day, wanted me to do something with him some years ago, and he was going to be in front. I was going to be, working with him. And I said, look, that is noble. That's some people's call it, but it's not mine. I'm not a cage bird. I'm a jungle bird. I have to be out there. Now, being out there means that I risk being hit by a predator. I risk being hit by a hunter who wants to take bird home for dinner. I risk being hit by a propeller of a plane or an helicopter. I may die. Every day I step out there to soar, I may die. I don't have the safety of the cage bird. I don't have it at all. But that is actually, that adventure capital is actually what makes me me. You see, I that is the only way I can be me. I have to know that, a hunter can shoot me down. I have to know that a propeller can hit me. I have to know that there are planes in the sky. I'm not alone in the sky. So I have to fly in a particular way to make sure I don't run into a plane or I don't run into the blade of a chopper. I have to know that. That is what makes me me. If you give me any other thing that doesn't have those threats in it, it cannot unlock my energy. It just can't, right? And the truth is I can be hit. Other birds have been hit before. Some birds more sincere than I have been hit. So, but the possibility of being hit is necessary for my own energy. You see, that is who I am. And that for me is the war, right? And, the caution is not to assume that you are really at war with people, or you are really at war with other organizations, or you are at war with other companies, such that it is win or lose, live and let die. It's live and you getting higher and living and just living. It has nothing to do with somebody else. You are your own competition. You are your own standard. And your breath is proof there's something higher to conquer. Your disruption, your self-disruption, and your ability to pivot by yourself is your own caution, is your own energy, is your drive. Every 90 days, I disrupt myself. I change almost everything I'm doing every 90 days. I don't wait for 20 years. I don't wait. Every 90 days, I sit down and say, what do I need to stop? What do I need to reinforce? What do I need to start again? What do I need to shut down? What do I need? I say, because if you don't do those things by yourself, the market will do it for you, right? The industry will do it for you, right? And that will end you either as a victim or a casualty, or or some in a miserable place, or a servant or a slave. I don't want to be any one of that. I have to be on top of my game. I have to be. People always ask me, "Oh, how do you know when it was time for you to start doing business in the United States? How did you know that?" I said, "Look, these are questions I ask for myself because I am at war with myself. My breath is proof there's something higher to conquer." So that's where I will land it. I think it's true. I think life is a balance of fun time and serious exchange, and you can't be so hooked on the leisure side of life and miss that serious exchange. The possibility also that there are people out there for different agendas who are waiting to do what they do. You are not necessarily their target, but they are ready to hit whatever is in their view, right? They are there, but you have a responsibility to yourself and to conduct yourself in a way that works for your own freedom and
I
peace.
love it. That's so good. I love it. I love that you called it adventure capital. I love it. I love it. I love it. So that ability for you to self-regulate, to apply yourself, to know that every day that you wake up is proof that the world needs you and that you need to hit the ground running. It's beautiful. And that you're your own standard. You set your own standard, not necessarily in competition with people of the world, but in competition with yourself. Is that race to beat your old self? Love it, love it, love it. Every 3 months regulation. I can say lots and lots, and I know some people are itching to leave. Dr. Ugo, over to you. Business is war. I know you love it. I know you love this one.
Yes, it's incredible, awesome. I think PK has actually nailed it. There's nothing more to say to it. Just to add to what he already said in a complimentary form, I think there are 3 words anyone that is in business must have in mind. 3 words. Number 1 is compensation. Number 2 is competence. And number 3 is compete. See, compensation means counterbalance, means something has to leave you before something comes back to you. Okay, if nothing leaves you, nothing comes back. And for you to be able to give something that can make something come back to you, you have to be competent. You have to have the knowledge and the know-how to be able to craft valuable options and values for people to go out there and for something to come back to you. But listen to where the war is compete. Most times people say they don't like competition, they need to do collaboration. That is really a very dangerous position to take. You know what competition is? Competition is when customers have an alternative to you. So if you go out there and provide value and you are not in your base game and someone else comes to provide the same value to the same customer, by any means offer something that is by illusion is not the same with you or even better, and the customer tends to have an option towards you, then competition is imminent. So competition is not what you do against each other, it's the customer having options to alternative to you. So in that case, one of the laws of wealth that I have is the law of contagion. Make your value go viral. Make sure that you are present. Your value is present in the mind of the customer. Each time he thinks about what he needs to do, who he needs to call to, you are the one he is to prefer. You know what I ask people? What do you do in the privacy of your life that you become the best preferred option when the customers need you? So the question is, what are you doing when nobody's watching? Like my brother said, he's always trying to disrupt himself in the next 90 days. Because if you don't do it entirely, the market will do it for you. And when market is doing it for you, you begin to have a reactive disposition to those things because it was done externally. But when disruption happens internally, you are always the one in charge and in control of how the market reacts to you. So the question is, be stubborn with your vision, but be flexible with your strategy. Be stubborn with your vision. Never reduce the size of your vision. But there are multiple ways you can do things to make it easier, more effective, in less time to get where you're going. Today, I rejected an offer because it didn't speak to my values. I'm premium. If you want to get something done with absolute certainty and powerful, then it come to me. Sometimes you don't have the capacity to employ certain people. Sometimes you don't have the money to. Not every day everybody has money to buy a Rolls Royce. Rolls Royce is a dream car. And I'm thinking, Rokus is that kind of person. Your personality is Rolls Royce. My personality is Rolls Royce. What I mean is, not everybody can afford me at the time they start. I want people to dream that when I have money, I'm going to call Ugo. When I reach a certain level, I want to engage him. And I said to you, listen, I'm going to do that service for you for free, but not at the fee you're asking for. You know what? Because if you don't take a stand about your value, people will pay you peanuts and go and spread the news of how much they paid you, even when they know you're worth more than that. So it's war. It's war. People are out there trying to take away from what you've got. It doesn't mean they hate you. It's just that some people have that survival instinct. But if you make your value go viral, and then you are on top of your game, and besides, don't be the best of the best. Be the only one who do what you do. Yeah. Don't be the best orange. Be the only apple amongst the oranges. Okay. In that way, when people need you, there's nothing comparable to you. Like my last quote is, I remember what Jesus said. He said, as long as I'm in the world, I'm in the light of the world. As long as I'm in the world, I am the light of the world, which means the disciples stand no chance. And Jesus was not mincing words. The disciples stand no chance. As far as he was on earth, nobody can be better than him. He said, wait until I'm gone, then you can shine. You know what I mean? So if you are in the game, if you're active in the market, make sure even the people you teach, as they are learning more, increase your capacity to make sure you're inspiration for them. Otherwise, there's always a kid on the block who's about to take your space.
Innovation. Thank you very much, sir. That was so good. Make your value go viral. Love it. Be the only one who does this, what you do. Be the only apple among oranges. Just stand out. Be different. And yes, we had PK earlier talk about difference. Be different. Okay. Be stubborn with your vision, but be flexible with your strategy. Tons and tons of nuggets. And I see lots of questions coming in. Unfortunately, we cannot take them. I won't even call it an unfortunate thing, because whenever we come to, such sessions like this, where we have had tons and tons and tons and tons, we can stay here all day and all night and keep, getting enough knowledge. But what's very important is that we apply it practically. So I'll say, whatever we have learned today, please, everyone, say from today, what am I going to do to make my life different? And that's what Dr. Ogo said earlier. What steps am I going to take today to make sure that there's a change? Thank you so much to our beautiful speakers. We can reach Dr. Ogo and find him on, on Instagram at Ugochukwu Omelgu. Also, Pastor Kunle Shorinyo, we can find him on Instagram at Olakunle Shorinyo, just in case you want to, keep abreast with them, see what they're doing, see what they're up to, look at the resources that they have. Maybe find their emails there and just contact them somehow, some way. That's how you reach them. We have now come to the end of the program. We will leave Alvin, he's already in here, who would give us the vote of thanks. Thank you so much, Dr. Ugo and Pastor Kunle Shorinyo. Thank you. It's been such an honor to be your host. My name is Mary Jane Ugbaja once again. Love you. Over to you, Alvin.
All right, thank you very much, AMJ. I want to say you've done a fantastic job. Like, you've done an amazing job this evening. And from myself and all of us at the Bonking Foundation, I want to say thank you for a job well done. And we look forward to having you on the platform over and over and over again. Thank you very much.
I'll be honored. I'll be honored to be here. Absolutely honored.
Now, I don't even know how to do this. Pastor Kunle Shorinyo, I want to say a big thank you from the bottom of my heart. And on behalf of the Bonking Foundation, I want to say thank you for sparing these 2 hours. I know your time is precious, but you've decided to honor us with your time. We deeply appreciate that. And we say, God bless you, sir. And we look forward to having you again on the platform. Dr. Umeogu, I don't even know where to start from. I honor you, sir. I want to say thank you. Thank you and thank you. God bless you, sir. And to quickly wrap this up, that felt like we're having Thinkation, like a virtual edition. And talking of Thinkation, ladies and gentlemen, on the 28th of January 2023, we'll be live on the grounds of the Harbour Point Event Center for Thinkation 2023, live on ground. So mark your calendars, keep the dates. We'll all be out there. Full Thinkation is back on ground once again. And 28th of January, watch our platforms for details, watch our platform for all the other information that we have to put out concerning that and other events that we have building up to that. So you can follow us on TikTok, Ubonking Foundation. Follow us on Twitter, UKF, Thinkation UKF on Twitter, on Facebook at Ubonking, the page and not the account. Then we are also on Instagram as Ubonking Foundation. So follow us on all those platforms, share the links to your friends. We have a lot coming up between now and when Thinkation happens. So we are shutting this down tonight. This is one of the numerous events that we're going to have in honor of the 50th posthumous birthday of Dr. Ubong Thompson King. So for tonight, we call it a wrap. Thank you everyone who has spent time. Thank you everyone who has spent data to be on this call. We've all learned. It's been a valuable session. These are sessions you feel should not end, but we have to call it a night. Like, this is the best way to spend your Saturday evening. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls in the house, all our guests and our hosts, my name is Alvin, on behalf of the Bonking Foundation, on behalf of Ambassador Dr. Onyeme Ivy King, on behalf of the volunteer team and the back-end team, this is saying good night and have a blessed evening.
Bless you.
Afraid of an army of lions led by a sheep, but I'm afraid of a pack of sheep led by lions. I came here to raise lions. I came here to provoke. I came here to disrupt. I came here to set that fire inside you. No matter the recession in the forest, a lion will never eat grass. A lion is not the tallest animal in the jungle. A lion is not the biggest animal in the jungle. A lion is not the fattest animal in the jungle. Where are my lions? Can I hear you say ahoo? So at this point in time, it is important that you know that decisions make men. What decision do you want to take today? What decision do you want to happen in your life? What decision do you want to see in 5 years' time? Everybody overestimates what you can accomplish in 1 year, but you underestimate what you can accomplish in 5 years. Stop thinking short term. Think about the long term.